We start in Libya now, where authorities from the UN-backed unity government have dismissed the seizure of government offices in Tripoli as a temporary occupation. The Deputy Prime Minister, Ahmed Maiteeq, told local media that the unity government forces were in control of the ministries of defense and labor that were briefly occupied by the self-declared Prime Minister, Khalifa Ghwell. Now, he's the leader of the National Salvation Government, which is a rebel administration group. Ghwell's so-called National Salvation Government was formed by the outgoing parliament after a disputed 2014 transfer of power that led to the establishment of rival governments, each backed by an array of militants.
What happened yesterday was just a temporary occupation by Khalifa Ghwell, the Prime Minister of the rebel National Salvation Government, in which he occupied the Ministry of Labor and the Ministry of Defense. He held a news conference inside and then left these buildings. We want to clarify to all the Libyan people that the unity project and the unity government will go on till we reach safety and achieve stability in the Libyan nation by ending the separation and the political divide.
Well, let's bring you more details on these latest developments in Libya. I'm joined from Cairo by CGTN's Adel Al-Makhroui. Adel, interesting choice of words there from the UN-backed government. They're calling this a temporary occupation. Others might say it's just the latest, sort of coup or attempted coup in Libya. What does that tell us about the prospects of peace and political stability in the country?
That it's only getting worse. Basically, what's happening is that after many have been perceiving that in Tripoli, at least when we talk about more than 5 to 6 months ago, and just as Fayez al-Sarraj, the UN-backed Prime Minister and the leader of what should have been the internationally recognized Libyan government, was just stepping in and taking control of the government. It was believed that al-Sarraj stands on one side, and then we have the Tobruk or the Eastern government on the other. Now the division has went back again to three governments, three battling governments, particularly after Khalifa Ghwell said that he has maintained control over the defense ministry, which is one of the vital organizations in the Western governments. There is, of course, the challenge that we've just heard about, whether it's just media propaganda or not. But in any case, the re-rise of Ghwell to the scene once again, claiming that he wants to create a government that abides to Islamic laws. This it puts us back again to the main conflict, but now instead of having two governments, we have three governments battling for power. Fayez al-Sarraj is UN-backed, and Ghwell now has, as you said, an area of militants support him, and now the Eastern government backed by General Khalifa Haftar, a former general in Gaddafi's military, and who leads what he calls the Libyan National Army.
Indeed, Adel, it seems sometimes that with this peace process, one takes a step forward and then at least two steps back at any given point. Adel, what's clear, though, is that the UN-backed government of national accord is yet to win unanimous support from Libya's various regions and political groups. What does this tell us now about whether, essentially, do regional players still see it as a viable authority to unite Libya?
Well, basically regional powers, if you talk about Libya's neighbors, basically Tunisia, Algeria and Egypt, they are trying to maintain good relations with most of the Libyan powers. Last week, Fayez al-Sarraj was here in Egypt. Abdullah Thanay, his rival in the Eastern government, was also here in Egypt. So they maintain quite good ties with both sides, but there isn't we can't hide the fact that some regional powers do tend to support one side more than the other, and that remains the situation. There are those countries who fear the rise of Islamists to power, among them Egypt and the most Gulf countries. There are those who have to cooperate with the Western government as it has control over their borders, like Tunisia and Algeria, because they find themselves in a situation where they are next inside with the Western government, and therefore they have to cooperate to maintain security over their borders. So it's still, the situation is as is, but what's clear now is that if anyone has been trying to rely more on Faiz al-Sarraj, the man who has been who rose to the spotlights by the United Nations backing and many international governments, is that he no longer have control. He has been given around a year to maintain authority or try to establish control over his government, but he has not been getting any recognition from the Eastern governments, and now we see that there is division within Tripoli itself that once hosted or still hosts Faiz al-Sarraj, but was believed to back Faiz al-Sarraj again. So this division definitely takes back a lot of confidence from Faiz al-Sarraj and makes every country of the leading players in the region to just recalculate its next step towards how they will deal with Libya in the coming months.
Indeed. Well, thank you so much for that update, Adel Al-Marouhi, joining us there from Cairo.